Welcome back, everyone. We're diving deep into the life of Queen Elizabeth I today, and we're using excerpts from Queen Elizabeth I, the Virgin Queen's golden legacy, as our guide. Get ready to explore her rise to power, her impact on England, and really, why she still fascinates us today. I mean, we all know about the Spanish Armada, right? The whole Virgin Queen thing. But trust me, there are so many layers to her story that are just waiting to be uncovered.
What always gets me about Elizabeth is it's not just about being a queen. It's about defying the odds, about surviving against all odds.
Exactly. Just imagine being born into the Tudor dynasty. Talk about family drama. Her father, King Henry VIII, and her mother, Anne Boleyn, it practically screams palace intrigue, doesn't it?
And then Elizabeth's only a toddler when Anne Boleyn is executed. And Elizabeth is declared illegitimate, basically cutting her off from the throne.
It's hard to even fathom the impact that must have had on her. It's incredible that she didn't just become, completely better. But here's the thing. Despite all this turmoil, she gets an incredible education, fluent in multiple languages, tutored by some of the brightest minds of the time.
And this wasn't just a royal perk, it was strategic. Even with her claim to the throne in question, there were people who saw her potential. They invested in her. This education, it really shaped her. Her sharp intellect, her political savvy. She was being prepared to lead, even if the path wasn't clear yet.
Wow, it makes you wonder, would she have been as successful without that foundation? It's a good question.
Yeah.
But her early life, it wasn't all books and tutors, right? She had to navigate a real political minefield, especially during the reigns of her half-siblings, Edward VI and Mary VI.
Talk about a trial by fire.
There was even that time when she was imprisoned in the Tower of London, suspected of treason.
Can you imagine the strength it must have taken to endure that? Those experiences? They forced her to understand power in a way few others could. This was a woman who knew how to play the Game of Thrones and win.
And she did win. In 1558, at the age of 25, she finally takes the throne. But inheriting the crown, well, it wasn't exactly a fairy tale ending. England was facing some serious problems. A weak economy, deep religious divisions, threats from countries like Spain and France.
Yeah, it really was a kingdom teetering on the brink. But Elizabeth, she wasn't one to back down from a challenge. Not at all. One of her first major moves, the Elizabethan religious settlement. Instead of going all in on either Catholicism or Protestantism, she finds this middle ground, this more moderate form of Protestantism for England.
It's remarkable, isn't it? I mean, all of Europe is practically tearing itself apart over religion, and she just sidesteps the whole mess, focuses on what would actually make England stronger. It seems so simple in hindsight, but it was brilliant.
Oh, absolutely. It wasn't just a compromise. It was a strategic power play. Elizabeth, she saw how religious conflict could weaken a nation, and she needed a united England to build her power, to secure her position, the Elizabethan religious settlement. It laid the groundwork for the stability that would define her reign.
It's like she looked at all the chaos in Europe and said, nope, not happening here.
Yeah.
She had this vision for England, this clear vision. And she wasn't afraid to make the tough calls to get there. And this really brings us to what many call the golden age of England, the heart of Elizabeth's reign.
Ah, yes. This is when England truly blossoms. Arts, culture, global influence. It's a time of incredible flourishing. We see the emergence of giants like Shakespeare and Marlowe, these incredible voyages of discovery by explorers like Sir Francis Drake and Sir Walter Raleigh.
England's power and influence just explodes onto the world stage, and it's all happening under Elizabeth's watch.
What's so remarkable is that she cultivated this transformation. It wasn't just luck or chance. It was a calculated strategy to position England as a global power. And think about the ripple effects. This is the foundation of what will eventually become the British Empire.
Mind-blowing. And speaking of global power, we can't forget about the Spanish Armada in 1588. England going head-to-head with the mightiest navy in the world.
David and Goliath, practically.
And everyone expected England to be crushed.
It seemed inevitable.
But this is where Elizabeth's leadership truly shines. Faced with this existential threat, she rallies her troops at Tilbury, delivers a speech that, well, it still gives me chills. Okay, picture this. Elizabeth, in full armor, riding out in front of her soldiers, and she declares, I know I have the body but of a weak and feeble woman, but I have the heart and stomach of a king, and of a king of England too, and think foul scorn that Parma or Spain or any prince of Europe should dare to invade the borders of my realm.
Wow, just powerful. The impact of that speech, we may now call the Tilbury speech, it can't be overstated. It was a masterclass in using symbolism and national pride, this victory against Spain. It wasn't just a military triumph, it forged a new sense of English identity, a defining moment. And that victory against Spain really, it solidified England's place in the world, cemented Elizabeth's image as a powerful and fearless leader. But there's another aspect of her image, one that continues to fascinate us, the Virgin Queen. It's a title that's sparked endless speculation, hasn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Was it a matter of the heart? A tragic romance, maybe? Or was there something more calculated going on?
Well, the reality is, Elizabeth's decision to remain unmarried, it was a strategic masterpiece, a brilliant display of political strategy. By not marrying, she avoided aligning herself with any foreign power, and she very skillfully sidestepped potential power struggles at home.
So she's essentially using the possibility of marriage as leverage, keeping everyone guessing and maintaining her independence.
Exactly. It was a masterful game of chess, with the entire European marriage market as her board. Of course, that doesn't mean there weren't whispers of romance. Our source does mention Robert Dudley, a close confidant, possibly even a love interest.
Ah, Robert Dudley. Talk about a historical drama waiting to happen. Were they truly in love? Or was it a deep friendship built on mutual respect and understanding? It's definitely tantalizing to think about.
It really is. It's a question that continues to fascinate historians, even today, and we may never know the full extent of their relationship. But the mystery, that's part of what makes Elizabeth's persona so captivating, wouldn't you say?
I completely agree. Now, shifting gears a bit, Elizabeth's reign wasn't just about military victories and political maneuvering. The Golden Age, as we've been calling it, it was also a time of incredible cultural and economic growth.
Absolutely. England truly blossomed as a center of arts and culture. Think about the incredible outpouring of theatrical works during this time. Shakespeare's Globe Theatre, the plays of Christopher Marlowe. It was an explosion of creative energy.
It's amazing to think that some of the most iconic works of English literature were born during her reign.
Right. And these weren't just entertainment. They reflected and shaped the changing ideas and values of Elizabethan society. They gave voice to the times.
And we can't forget about the economic transformation either. Didn't Elizabeth's policies also encourage trade and exploration?
They absolutely did. This led to increased wealth and prosperity for England. It laid the foundation for the nation's future economic dominance.
So she wasn't just a patron of the arts. She was also laying the groundwork for a powerful economic engine. Elizabeth really seemed to have a knack for fostering growth and progress across so many different areas. But of course, all reigns must eventually come to an end. Elizabeth ruled for an impressive 45 years, before passing away in 1603. What do you think her lasting legacy is? Why does her story still resonate with us centuries later?
Well, her impact is undeniable. She inherited a nation in turmoil and left it a global powerhouse. And perhaps most importantly, she showed the world that a woman could not only rule, but excel in a world that was very much dominated by men. Her leadership, that blend of pragmatism, charisma, and sheer intellect, it became a model for monarchs to come.
It's inspiring, really. And her legacy extends far beyond just politics, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Her support of the arts and exploration, it had a lasting effect on English culture and the nation's place in the world.
It's like she set the stage for England's future. What I find so striking is how she defied expectations at every turn. She refused to be defined by the limitations placed on women during her time. And in doing so, she inspired countless generations to come.
That's the enduring power of Elizabeth's story, I think. It's a testament to resilience, to intelligence, to the power of challenging the status quo.
It reminds us that leadership can take many forms, and that even in the face of seemingly insurmountable challenges, it's possible not only to survive, but to thrive.
Exactly. Her story also reminds us that history isn't just a collection of names and dates in a dusty textbook. It's about the choices made by real people, choices that shape the course of events.
So to our listeners, if you're as captivated by Elizabeth I as we are, I encourage you to delve deeper into her story. There are countless books, documentaries, even historical fiction novels out there. They offer fascinating insights into her life and her reign. It's a journey worth taking, trust me. But before we let you go, I have one final question for you, our expert. A bit of a what-if scenario, if you will.
I always enjoy a good what if.
What if Elizabeth had made different choices? What if she had married? What if she hadn't been such a skilled politician? How do you think history might have unfolded differently?
$1 million question. It's impossible to know for sure, of course, but it's certainly intriguing to speculate. If Elizabeth had married, especially to a foreign power, the balance of power in Europe could have shifted dramatically.
A potential domino effect, you're saying, altering the entire course of European history.
Absolutely. And without her political savvy, England might not have navigated the religious and political turmoil of the time as successfully. It was a pivotal point for England. And her choices, her leadership, even her personality, they all played a crucial role in shaping the nation's destiny. And those ripple effects, they might have extended even further, influencing global events in ways we can only imagine.
It's a bit sobering, isn't it? Realizing how much can hinge on the decisions of a single individual.
It really is, but it also underscores something crucial. History isn't some fixed, unchangeable thing. It's a tapestry woven from countless choices, big and small, made by real people just like us.
And that's a powerful reminder that we all have the potential to make choices that shape the future, just as Elizabeth did.
Absolutely. It's a legacy worth reflecting on.
Yeah, it really is amazing to think about how different things might have been if just a couple of decisions had gone another way.
It's like we're looking into these alternate realities, isn't it? Exploring those what-ifs, those paths not taken.
Exactly. And it makes you realize, how complex history really is, how those individual choices can just ripple outward, changing everything. It makes me wonder, actually, about Elizabeth's legacy. But beyond just the political landscape, what kind of impact did she have on everyday people during her reign?
That's a really good question. While we celebrate her for the political achievements, for the arts and culture flourishing during her time, well, we have to remember that Elizabethan England wasn't exactly a utopia. There were still significant challenges, especially for ordinary people: poverty, disease, religious persecution. These things persisted even with her efforts to bring stability and prosperity.
So it's a more complicated picture than, just the glamorous golden age we often hear about.
Exactly. We can't romanticize the past. Elizabeth's reign saw amazing progress, yes. But it's crucial to acknowledge those complexities, the struggles people faced.
It's a good point, for sure. History is rarely black and white, lots of shades of gray. And even the most celebrated figures, well, their legacy is often a mix of positive and negative impacts.
That's very true. Studying history isn't about glorifying it. It's about understanding it, the triumphs and the struggles. And by doing that, well, we gain a deeper understanding of our own present, don't we? And the challenges we face today.
You always bring it back to the present, and you're so right. So to our listeners, as we wrap up this deep dive into the life of Elizabeth I, I hope you come away with a richer, more nuanced understanding of her, not just a queen, but a complex human being, navigating a treacherous world, making tough choices, leaving an undeniable mark on history.
Yeah, her story really highlights that leadership can take so many forms. It shows us that we can defy expectations, shape the course of events, but it's also a reminder to look deeper, to acknowledge the complexity of the past, and to really use history as a lens to examine our own present.
Couldn't have said it better myself. I encourage you all, keep exploring, keep digging deeper into those stories and events, the things that shaped Elizabeth's reign, but also the world we live in today. And who knows, maybe by understanding those choices from the past, we can make more informed, more thoughtful choices today, shaping a future that we can all be proud of. Thanks for joining us on this journey, everyone. We'll see you next time for another deep dive into the fascinating world of history.